about the internet to me, or what it's become, is the accessibility to people in the past who otherwise didn't have accessibility to, or you'd have to write a fan letter to, and well, either they actually write something, or they write the forum letter and sign at the bottom. What I find really fascinating is that when you have this instant access on things like Goodreads, on Facebook, where so Lindsay is trying to publish her own book right now, completely separate, like an actual book. And in the traditional publishing sphere, because of the nature of the decline of traditional publishing and also just traditional media, the push is definitely to have a strong social media base. But having a strong social media base, and this is just from our own experience with Channel Awesome and Shay Apocalypse, and having our faces out there and being women on the internet, is that if you don't have a thick skin, you are a live nerve. You are raw and you are exposed. And Lindsay and I have pretty thick skins, and we're like, she's friends with Anita Scarsese, who also, I don't know how she handles the shit she does. I don't think I could handle what she gets, but she does, and she does it with grace. But then there are some authors who are expected to have the social media presence, and it gets to them, and they attack people for having poor reviews of their work, and they almost become infamous for it. Like, there are a couple of authors who I'm not going to name who on Goodreads are actually famous for going after people who give them bad reviews and like stirring up the shit and like acting, or you read them and you're like, dude, you cray, like, I don't know, like, stop. But that's what happens. It's kind of insidious. It can really get into, and all of a sudden, like, you go off on a person on the internet and you're like, I don't know, then you wake up like on a 3-day bender, like, what just happened? Oh my God, did I really post that on the internet? Like, I just kind of had a moment like that. So we, on Shay Apocalypse, so we're friends with Mara Wilson, who was the girl who was Matilda, and in various other movies in her childhood.
She writes for Cracked, which is a whole nother.
Yeah, no, and she does a lot of events in New York, I couldn't tell me recitals, but like, she'll like sort of give essays, or like give live essays and like declamations, like talking to people in bars and stuff, and like sort of series like that where she'll like just tell stories. Really awesome stuff. So we did a series about nostalgic foods from our childhood that are actually super gross in real life. And we filmed it really quick. We ordered all this food.
You need to heat the Pop-Tarts. You forgot to do that.
No, we gave the Pop-Tarts to Paul. Paul, or Paw, you might know him as.
Yeah.
Because that 2 of those are like 400 goddamn calories.
Yeah, you only have one at a time.
I'm wearing a Fitbit. I can't eat that shit. All right. So we ate all. They made me eat Chef Boyardee beef ravioli because they don't eat beef. I took that bullet, man, and it was disgusting, and it was gray on the inside.
That has a texture to it. It's like sand.
It is sand.
It's not even sand. You know when you get like the
cardboard.
super dry snow, that's sand.
Yes.
But it's snow. Mm-hmm. It was like that, like gritty, but it melted.
The spaghetti and meatballs is where it's at. Spaghetti.
Well, look, I was only gonna have one, and I'm never looking back. I'm done. Anyway, so we did this video, and then 2 weeks later, like, Lindsay and I are chatting on Gmail, and she's like, oh, fucking BuzzFeed. And I'm like, what do they do now? Because BuzzFeed annoys us slightly. Like, they're just too
direct.
direct.
On the internet, I can GIF you now.
Although that's a great Tumblr, like BuzzFeed without the GIFs.
Another cracked child.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. I loved Crack. Like, Cracked, I back them up 100%.
They're good people.
Yeah, they do funny stuff. I also really like their new series where it's
Rom.com?
No, it's the one where they interview people, and
yes.
Like that one where the woman, like, 5 things you don't realize working for the resistance against the Nazis or whatever.
Out of nowhere.
And I'm like, this is so good. Like, this is exactly what the internet needs. Like,
the comments on those are always, Cracked, you're better journalists than the journalists.
Right? It's a funny world. So anyway, so we do this thing, and like Lindsay's like, ah, fucking crack. They, you know, and I'm like, oh, what do they do now? It's like, oh, they derivative motherfuckers. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. And then like, what was it? Pretty sure it was St. Patrick's Day, because I went to the way station and I got hammered. Lindsay didn't get hammered, but I did. And I also lost my crochet hook. But, so I get back from the way station, like, woo, St. Patrick's Day, I listen to great Irish music, yay. And then I get home and I'm going to check Facebook before I go online. And
Before I go online.
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't go to bed, I go online. Yeah, it's a Freudian slip. You can tell I work on the internet. So I go on Facebook before I go to bed, and I see all these posts about, this was funny when we did it 2 weeks ago, and BuzzFeed has an article, or it's a video of nostalgic foods from your childhood, and they did practically all the same foods we did, and I had drunken rage. Like, I started posting, but bless, I posted one thing, and then I called Mara, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, and hammered, and my boyfriend's on Skype, and I'm like, I'll be right back. I need to ask Mara something. Mara, I saw the thing about BuzzFeed. I'm really angry. Can you see the thing I posted though? Because I don't want to start shit. Is it okay? And she reads it, and she's like, oh no, this is exactly how I feel about this. No, go ahead and post it. Like, and I'm like, great, okay, I'm not gonna delete it, but I should probably not answer any comments until I'm sober. So I leave that up, and like I watch the video, and I'm like, you fucks. So yeah, BuzzFeed's just a little bit of a shit list, just a little bit. But yeah, the next morning I was like, oh god, what did I post? And like, of course you're tracking all your shit. Like, okay, that wasn't offensive. That wasn't offensive. That wasn't offensive. Ooh, dodged a bullet there. Didn't burn any bridges. Yeah. Nothing quite, like, that's the beautiful and awful thing about the internet is that it's so instantaneous, it's dangerous.
Like, I'm not nearly at all internet famous, but I have like one blog with some followers, and like, people will go off the hook about anything. Like, you'll imply you don't like their favorite pairing, and then it's just like 5 anon-esques, like, how dare you homophobe, and it's like,
ooh, are we going to talk about Tumblr social justice?
I wouldn't do that to you.
No, I would, no. All I'm going to say about Tumblr social justice is bless.
Yeah.
Because it's important, but sometimes it just goes off the deep end, off of like, into parody, and it's awful, and it's angry, and you can understand where that anger comes from. Like, of course, it makes perfect sense. This is not how you win anything.
The real problem is when the anger bleeds out into things that are not even, like, how dare you insult my favorite character? It's that same vitriol, and you know they're like having it from all around, and you're like, that is not where that vitriol goes.
Yeah.
Like, take that, save it, do something. And they're
Well,
like,
it's like,
no, you can't, you know.
it's like trolling on the internet. It's kind of addictive. Like, you tear someone down once, and then you get that, ooh, I was so much smarter than you. and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're just causing shit just because you can. Like, yeah, it is dangerous. And I'm trying to make my living off of it. Yay! Anyway, any other questions?
Yeah.
How long does it take to make, I mean, it's probably a range, like there's a lot of effects going on, it takes longer, but from like start to finish, writing to editing and posting, on average, or biggest and smallest times range?
Well, Lindsay's schedule is a lot different from mine, especially on her own videos that she works on her own. In regards to the 50 Shades series, which is going to be renamed, our schedule is that we film on Thursdays, we post on Sunday, and then from Sunday until next Thursday, we have a G-Doc that we put our notes in and try to figure out what we're saying for the next. Now, in upcoming episodes, we're doing a 2-week break between episodes because we started the book club section. So we say what book we've chosen, we'll read it, come up with our feelings, ideas, discussions about it, put that in the G-Doc, but then 2 weeks feels like a good chunk so we can read it, figure out what we want to say about it, and we also want to encourage people to read the book along with us if they haven't, so then it's like, it's a book club, you know, and then leave your comments or your disagreements or agreements in the comments, so. But we're trying to keep to a 2-week schedule for the book series idea.
Is it closer to like notes or a script? Like,
see, for that one, for the nostalgia chick stuff, it's definitely a script. And she's worked out a teleprompt system, so that works out really great. Nowadays, it used to take much longer without it. Because it'd be on the computer screen, you'd like, read the paragraph, say it. Okay, then we're gonna pretend like there's a cut here, or that there's an image. All right, next paragraph, say it. And then there would be the voiceover stuff. We could usually film in a day, but it would take time and, you know, it'd be a lot of mistakes. The 50 Shades book series takes much shorter, just because it's much more improv. We have the bullet notes, but it's just us chatting and trying not to run out of video on the cameras we use, so. The editing, that's more of a Lindsay question. She does all the editing. She's really fast at it though, like she is, but you know, we film on Thursday. If she sticks to it and doesn't get distracted, she can have it out by Sunday, so. And that's dealing with 3 cameras, 3 different video tracks, 1 sound master. So that's a lot to play with. Yep.
So I know that Lindsay has more formal film training. She undergrad and graduate school and that. How much have you learned about filmmaking just by working with her over these years?
I've learned that you really want a 3-light system. You want 3 points of light, like maybe even a background, like base, like a background lighting thing, but you definitely want the 3-way light system. Huge. Sound, super important. Don't at all skimp on sound if you're able to. I've learned some basic editing, like things like that, but you know, it's I could probably, if you threw it at me, I could do it, but if I tried to like teach it, it would be horrible.
So actually going to, you know, film school helps.
Well, I mean, when she went to film school, what helped her, it was just, in the last year she was there, just doing it, like doing the short films, like having a set, organizing, like here's the biggest thing I think I've learned through her, is not so much how to set up a shot, but how to organize the set. So it's making sure people are taken care of, there's a schedule and you stick to it. You know, you make sure people aren't miserable. Things like that. Even keeping a budget. Huge deal. Hugely important. So, any other questions?
so I just want to clarify, you guys are making all of your money via the web now, or are you still doing side jobs?
Lindsay does, but she does a lot more of the work.
Right.
I get a cut, but it's more like a nice stipend than I can survive off of this, so. But she's definitely made it work for her. So has Todd in the Shadows. But like, if you know Paul, like, or Paul on he does the movie musicals. He has a day job as well, but yeah, he's gonna become crazy, so. I mean, everyone finds their own, what they're willing to work with. I know some people aren't comfortable with the idea of, I think I can make it on what I make off the web, so I'm going to take it and run. Other people, it's just so what they want to do that they'd much rather just risk it, and not have to worry about a day job. So yeah.
If you had a really good idea and possibly maybe even a successful Kickstarter campaign, would doing some sort of like actual larger movie project like we've seen a lot of the other reviewers do, would that be something that you'd really want to try, or is that just, you know, would you feel that that's like not really in the cards?
You know, we've discussed it. I feel like there hadn't been a time for that, and I feel there's a little bit of a backlash against it recently. Like right now, what I see as being the most popular, at least online, is the talking head, which is your John Green, it's your Andre the Black Nerd, it's stuff like that. Even Hannah Harto in My Drunk Kitchen, like, I mean, that to me is like biggest example of like something that isn't just like talking at you, but like having like it entertaining. But I don't really see long movies or web series ever being a thing. I think bite-sized chunks of web series might work. Because the thing about when it comes to the internet and the internet audience is people's attention spans are awful on the internet. They want like a 2-minute video. They don't want to watch a 30-second ad. They really don't want to watch a 30-second ad. You're like, but it's 30 seconds. But it's 30 seconds. I can't watch that. It's too long. My time is precious. I need to watch more cat things. So I think you gotta have the solid hook like in the first couple seconds. I think you need good cliffhangers from, I think web series could work, but the format you think of them in needs to change for the internet. They need to be much smaller, much more digestible, just because people are like puppies when it comes to the internet. Their attention span is like squirrel.
I think what that's your thing. It's like the Guild, where it was originally the one parodying the World of Warcraft folks, and it's like it was originally just like 8-minute chunks, and like years later they came out with the full thing. But
yeah, but I think you have to start with the short, build the interest, because really I only feel like their long version worked because they had the fan base that was going to support them no matter what.
And the star.
Yeah.
And the star. I mean, who doesn't love Felicia Day? If you don't, you probably hate puppies too.
I mean, I think the best example of kind of, I think there's like a time limit, because I don't know, have you heard of H+? H+ was a big studio project with big names. I mean, it had, it had Wesley from Buffy and Angel.
Oh, really?
And it was really big. They shot it in like 17 countries around the world, film studio, a lot of CGI. But they released it in 5-minute chunks online, and the 5 minutes proved too short because they had a TV intro and TV outro, and they completely forgot that you got to go in, out.
Yeah, you can't have something long.
It was paced for TV and sectioned for the internet, and it was this interesting thing to watch TV try to find its way, and like they got that it had to be short. But they forgot that it had to be paced short. It had to be paced really fast.
You need like
watch
the opener
John
and you
Green
need
talk.
the cliffhanger. I mean, Game of Thrones is long, but by God, every episode ends on a cliffhanger that makes you want to watch the next one. And be it short or long, like you need that. Especially when it's short. You want them to click the next button because they want to know what happens next. It'll be really interesting to see like in the next couple of years. Like, I mean, honestly, I feel like there's been kind of an upset in the video hosting sphere between like YouTube Blip and other websites that I've known people to use, just making them not only self-supporting but marketable, like or to be able to get money off of them, to survive off of. It's been a tricky game because they're so dependent on advertising. And the minute you start talking subscription, no one wants to sign up for it. Like, and that's the biggest thing I think that we'll see if it works or it doesn't. Will people want to subscribe and pay a monthly fee to watch original content? Now, we're seeing things like Netflix do that, but they had their original model and they've introduced original content, which people have absolutely fallen over for. Like, they love it. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Amazon Prime is trying to get into that market as well, of creating original content you watch on the web that you pay a subscription for. Now, can things like YouTube and Blip do that?
I mean, Hulu's been at that game for a while. I have never heard anyone say anything positive about an original Hulu show.
Yeah.
There's like...
They have original shows?
Yeah. If you watch enough Hulu, whenever they have like a free one, because I'm not subscribed to Hulu.
That's been Blip's model. Like, they don't want to be YouTube, they want like original web content. So you have educational shows, talkie shows, and even like web series that are fictional. And they've been trying to push that, and like we've had ups and lows with them. Supposedly Marker has just been bought by Disney, so we'll see what happens now. And what happens with the Blip company. but there's a lot of flux right now. There's a lot of trying to figure out what's going to work and how to monetize it. And we're sitting here trying to figure out how to monetize it. So it's a brave new world.
What do you think of, I think it's called Patreon or whatever,
The new Patron, the patron
Yeah.
system.
how's it pronounced?
Oh.
I think it's called like patron, but
I thought there was an extra E in there.
You're not supposed to pronounce it.
Okay.
You're not supposed to.
I'm not as familiar with that, but that, I mean,
It's
from what I
think combine Kickstarter with like a subscription thing.
yeah, that's what
So
I was
you
thinking.
subscribe to your favorite artist, and you, it's it's a sort of it's like this con. It's like a pay what you wish, but
Yeah.
you're voluntarily saying I will give this person $5 a month, and I'll leave it.
I
to
mean,
deposit.
looking at Kickstarter, Indiegogo, like all these websites, like it does feel like, and even with Kickstarter, I feel like there had been a huge Kickstarter boom. And I just feel like it's kind of decreased at the moment. We'll see if it like picks back up, but I think there has been this need that people have felt of getting what they want. They want to see certain things, and if they can find it, they will give money to it. But it has to be something, or in the past, it's had to be something specific because people just don't want to I don't want to pay like $5.99 a month for your service. No, I just get it on for free. You know. I think
there's been some there's in some books and some economic stuff. It comes down to where those things where you can actually get people to pay more on like the honor, depending on how you work it. But it's sort of like you can have it for free, but I'll ask you for the money, and you'll actually often get more than sort of the more adversarial paywall system.
One of the things I've just, because I'm gonna admit it now, I read Homestuck, yeah, I can too, but the Bandcamp model of, you can pay $1 or more for this artist's work, it just always struck me as very interesting. But I was wondering, one of the things I've noticed on a lot of YouTube channels, I know you're not on that anymore, is the increase in who has merchandise. Is that anybody with like 3 or more hit videos has a T-shirt now that you can buy with their face on it, and I'm like, wow.
Well, we're at a place in time where you as a creator can absolutely create your own private business. Whether it'll succeed, completely different question. And it's all about building up your social clout. It's about building up your followers, being interesting. I really do feel like John Green's entire success is just because people like watching him talk, and his books are great. I'm not lying. His books are great, but that's how he sort of built up his name, because he had his YouTube series. So it's really, that's one thing that a lot of people I know who are trying to get published or have been published that they struggle with is also having to be this highly public person in order to try to promote your own material. In the past, if you got in, and your thing got picked up, you didn't have to worry about promoting yourself. There would be a department to do that. But now it's on you. It's so on you, how are your 3 tweets a day, one personal, one about someone else, and one about something in the world. It's literally a business model that they recommend. 3 tweets a day.
Yeah, and none of them can offend anyone.
Yeah, that's another big thing.
Hashtag cancel Colbert.
And that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people I know. But they have to do it. And I find it very interesting. And I do know a lot of people find it very difficult. But you just have to be really gregarious.
Does Twitter have a queue system? I'm just wondering.
You can get a script for that or something. Yeah, you can automate tweets from anything.
Yeah.
So you could set up they don't have a built-in queue, is what I'm wondering.
I'm sure someone can make a random tweet generator. A random. But not like random as in weird random. You can make those random postmodernism essays. You can make valid tweets, it's just computer generated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're going to offend someone, and then
I'm sure that can be quantified.
It's a random script where they're going to talk about their offensive tweets.
Well, no, they attack the person who's tweeting, and then your agent's going to call and be like, why did you say anybody who doesn't eat lobster is going to hell? There are religions that forbid that. How dare you? And then you'll be like, I didn't. My Twitter script said it. And then they'd be like, you're using a Twitter. And you'd be wrong. That's it. It's the end. Top writer uses Twitter script, doesn't actually interact with fans. The end.
Unlike all of them who have staffers that interact with the fans, you know.
So nowadays,
Or like Colbert, where it's like, I did not tweet that.
That was Comedy Central. The great thing, though, is with all his clout, he just invited the head of Twitter to delete the account for him on public television. It was like, okay, I'm Colbert, you can't touch me.
That just, well, things like that just make him more powerful because that's his whole shtick.
He said that. Am I
Yeah.
not the most powerful man in the world? And Biz was like, yeah. Yes.
Well, on that note, anything else? Or?
I had something. Yeah. I remember it now.
on a lighter note, what's been your favorite special or video or whatever to film?
What was my favorite? There's been so many. The Disney World one, where we did dueling DreamWorks and Disney, because I had been visiting Lindsay in California, like, because she was showing her student film, and I went out there to support her. So we did this video about Disney versus DreamWorks, and then in the video at the very end, I dragged her to Disneyland.
Yes, I remember that.
It
one.
was amazing, and we got to write it off because video. It was great. So yeah, that one. Because then also I got to go to Disneyland. So, and I love Disney. So. Yeah.
Cool.
So is what you call it? Do you feel that the media that New York is a good ecosystem for what you're trying to do as an internet video? So let's say I'm an internet video producer and I live in Ohio. Should I just immediately move to New York City, I mean, or LA? But is it important being in the city that you're in for what you do?
No. If you were publishing, I'd say yes. But with video production, it's more about your content. And it's about understanding how to get your content. Like, the internet's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where you are when you post it. It matters how you present it, how you research it, and how it looks, and how it sounds. You can do that from your bedroom, you know? I mean, that's why that guy with the glasses has so many, and even Shampacalypse has so many people from all over the place. Like, there's nothing holding you back. All you need is a decent camera and a thought in your head. And that's all that matters. Now, of course I'll stand here and say, but New York is great. Like, it's a great place to, like, meet new people and stuff, but you don't need it. And I do like that. I do like that it kind of really levels the playing field in a lot of ways, because internet video creation doesn't really require you to go out and, like, shake hands in order to build base. You know, as you get bigger, yeah, I recommend going to cons. I recommend meeting people, like meeting other people in your field, other professionals, making those connections, but you don't need to be in a certain location in order to start.
I just want to let you know you can keep going, but it's been an hour. Just
Oh, okay. Oh.
you successfully paneled.
I made it!
What time?
First panel down!
Yeah, it's at 12. So.
Does anybody else have any? I mean, we have some time if anyone
Yeah,
has any additional
we have
questions.
we have cushion time, but I just want to.
Yeah, we don't have to keep- we don't have to keep-
If you want to leave,
No.
you're free to. Yeah.
Does anybody else? We don't need any awkward silence, but if people have more questions.
Well, I'm gonna move her.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, my pleasure.
I didn't mean to like stop it. I just,
No.
No, that felt like as good a place to stop as anywhere. So.
Awesome.